The Buccaneers beat the Texans 20-19. And if you missed it on Instagram or X, oops, and I just put the episode cover on the screen. Apologies for that producer error. But if you looked at Instagram or Twitter and you saw the content that Kevin's putting out there, you saw our picks on Monday night, and I was alone on Texans Island. We all picked the Chargers. We were all right on the Chargers, but I was alone on Texans Island, and I was feeling great going late into that game. I was getting excited to puff out my chest and be like, well, I believe in Houston. But then, as Toddy says in that tone of voice, Baker Mayfield broke away. The Texans win in an all-out blitz. Baker Mayfield breaks away, gets a first down. Buccaneers go on to score, win the game 20-19. And so, unfortunately, I was wrong. Congrats to you guys for nailing that pick with the Buccaneers. But, Kevin, I'm going to throw it to you first. Just what was your reaction to this game as the Buccaneers went on the road in Houston 20-19?
We talked about Joe Burrow not having an O-line. We saw the Texans trade their very best O-lineman in Larry Tunsil, and we see C.J. Stroud just getting destroyed back there. Is C.J. Stroud cooked, Shaun? I mean, as an Ohio State fan, it's hurting me, man. It's hurt me deep. I was expecting him to come out last year and really double down on that first year. We called it a sophomore slump. We're going to create a new term called a junior year slump, a junior year hangover. This team is in shambles. You know, we thought that they can always turn this switch and they're always going to win the division. They're starting off 0-2. They haven't played a divisional game yet, which is the one bright side of this. But seeing teams like the Jaguars be coming down to almost being 2-0, you're seeing the Colts 2-0. The Titans are the Titans, but they essentially are not looked at as one of the better teams in the AFC South anymore. I'm really worried about this team. I get it. The Buccaneers are a really good football team, and Baker Mayfield always finds a way to win a game. So it's a pat on the back to lose to a team like that. And like Shaun said, for half the game, we thought they were going to win. And it came down to an all-out blitz and Baker Mayfield making another magical play to get them back in that game, to get a last-minute touchdown. I think we have to have the conversation. We always say it every year. Baker Mayfield. He's doing it year in and year out. Are the Buccaneers legit NFC contender at this point? I know you got the Eagles. Shaun would love to say the Niners. You got the Packers. Are the Lions going to be able to do it again? I think you have to put the Buccaneers at one of those top teams. You got the Rams. There's a lot of good teams in the NFC. The Bucs find a way to get it done, and they're not even at full strength. Can we imagine what this team's going to look like with a Chris Godwin? With a Tristan Wirfs? They're one of the best offensive linemen in the NFL, and they're still finding ways to get it done. You know, we saw last year not the resurgence, but the announcement to the world that Bucky Irving is that guy. Rachaad White is still coming in and being very good. They got guys like Kate on. They have a lot of solid players on the team. Vita Vea was making plays snap after snap after snap. This team is going to find a way to get it done. Okay. They're going to find a way to get it done night in and night out. I think the Texans might be cooked, and it's sad to say.
Yeah, I think Blue agrees that it's been a rough start to C.J. Stroud's third year in the NFL. I don't think that he's cooked. I just think that the Buccaneers are a good team. Would I go as far to say that they're contenders? Probably not, just because, like, for years we always talked about, like, the NFC is very top heavy. Like, you have 1 to 2 teams at the top, and then it's just the rest. This year, it's looking different. Like, I would say, and this is not even including my 49ers in it, I'd say the Eagles, Commanders, Packers, Lions, even the Vikings. I know J.J. McCarthy is hurt now, but I throw the Vikings in there. Then maybe we and I don't know if I said the Rams, and then you even throw in the 49ers. That's 7 teams that I would put ahead of the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are going to get into the playoffs again because they're going to win the NFC South, but I'm still taking 7 teams above them, and I think you can really only say 4 to 5 teams are truly contenders when it comes to winning a Super Bowl. So I personally wouldn't put the Buccaneers in there, but I think they're a really good team, and that's why they got this road win on Monday Night Football in Houston. Just like the Buccaneers may coast to an NFC South championship, I don't know if it's going to be as likely for the Texans anymore in the AFC South because the Colts are off to a strong start. And we'll talk about that briefly in our speedy Week 2 NFL recap. But before we get there, Kaz, what were your thoughts on the Buccaneers beating the Texans 20-19?
I mean, I think it could have been a lot worse than what it was. Shout out to both defenses. Like they look good, man. You hold teams under 20 points for the most part, for a majority of the game. I think that's a pretty solid defensive performance all around. It's not like anything shady was going on. I don't feel like the refs were really, siding one way versus the other, really. Based off what I saw, it was just a hot start. And, the defensive coordinators on both ends made adjustments, and they made it very difficult for the offenses to score this game. But, veterans always find a way, man. And I think Kevin said it best. You look at that Bucs team. I mean, Baker Mayfield is a veteran, obviously. He's really good at winning, too. Just call it what it is. Mike Evans, I don't need to explain who he is and what he's able to do. Bucky Irving is really a guy. They have a solid defense in previous years. I mean, leading back to when they last won the Super Bowl with Tom Brady, they've been solid, man. They're well coached, and I don't know. You leave a game like that close. You got CJ Stroud in his third year now, and we talk about that, like you mentioned, the sophomore slump, and maybe it is a 3-year slump. I don't know, but the Texans were still hurt. It is just Nico Collins there. Who was it? Nico Collins and Dalton Schultz. You got Nick Chubb and what's remaining of his knee in the backfield. I mean, their offense is injured, so I mean, they're only going to be as good as we're seeing right now until guys come back. I mean, they're not a complete football team right now, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I would say, are. They don't really need much outside of just some healthy players, but the guys who are healthy in Tampa Bay are their superstars for the most part. Guys that can make plays happen. I go to butcher his name, but they got the receiver. What's his name? Egbuka?
Emeka? Ibuka.
Yeah.
Ibuka. Thank you.
Ohio State.
Oh, okay. Here we go. So
wide receiver,
that's he might end up being rookie wide receiver 1 after this one of the season's done. We don't even know. He's nice, man. And you mentioned guys like K. Dotton, who the guy at the tight end spot, and outside of Bucky Irving, Rachaad White is a very serviceable RB2. The dude is a pass catching freak. He's a phenomenal. He's one of the best in the league at it, honestly. If you guys don't believe me, go back and check his stats of previous years. So, you give me all that, and then you add in, boom, Baker Mayfield and Todd Bowles, the head coach. They were supposed to win that game. It was a road game. Any road game's a big game, especially early on, because you gotta win those early games. You need to get them out the way. So they went into Houston, who's coming off a loss. You'd probably think they have a little bit of momentum, maybe a little bit of extra, oomph behind them because it's a home game. And nope, even though it's a tight game, we're gonna still find a way to win because we are the more poised team, we're the more experienced team, and we got guys who have been here and done that, and you guys have not been there and done that. So, just a good all around game. And I will say this, I kind of slightly agree with Kevin, not all the way, but I kind of slightly agree with Kevin when he just brought up, I guess it was a question, but are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers legit NFC contenders? I think that's a team that more often than not, you can find if they have this same team and, they don't have any nasty injuries to their star players, especially on that offense. I think that's a team that more often than not, 6 out of 10 times can make it to at least a divisional round. So, I mean, if you can get to a divisional round, that's when they won playoff game. I think you can chalk them up for that. Have they done that? No. But right now, given the team that they do have and seeing what I've seen in previous years, they've only made steps forward. They just won a Super Bowl back in 2020, right? Okay. And then they lose Tom Brady, and then they deal with whoever the hell, whatever. Baker Mayfield's running around like crazy, looking like his career's about to be over. Then he gets a contract. Then you got the end of Mike Evans, who is still playing at premier football. Then they go and get a guy like Egbuka, or how the hell you say his name. It's like they're not in Bucky Irving, and they're not taking steps backwards. They're taking steps forward. So being an Eagles fan, I'm identifying what that looks like. I'm aware of it. Okay, hold up. The Bucs are doing the damn thing. On top of that, they beat the shit out of our Eagles all the time. And yes, Kevin, I'm saying beat the shit out of us because they beat us. They beat us. Last time I said they go, well, now wait, they don't beat the shit out of us. To me, they beat our ass, bro. When I'm watching, they control the games, and I'm like, bro, like, come on, man, we can't do shit. We just can't do shit. It may not be 40. It may not be 40-7, but I'm like, dog, we can't do nothing, dog. I know they're gonna get this first down. I know Mike Evans is gonna catch this ball. I know Baker Mayfield's about to run for 15 yards right here. I just know it. So they have, I think that they have somewhat of a very, I wouldn't say a winning culture, but I would definitely say they have a very highly competitive culture. They're a team that you just cannot take lightly. I don't care who you are, AFC, NFC, Baltimore Ravens, Philadelphia Eagles. You go ahead and take the Bucs lightly and see what happens. Watch Mike Evans drop 150 on your head and 3 touchdowns. Beat that. So yeah, Bucs should have won that game, and I think it should have been worse than that.
Fair enough.